use the tax money of the people I get the privilege of representing to pay this guy who they obviously knew was a Russian spy. They hire him, who's the source of all the false information. Is that true?
They paid him. They hired it. They paid him.
Couple $100,000, if I recall, right?
It's over $200,000.
Yeah, and then this guy's hanging out with Dolan, Charles Dolan, who's a buddy of the Clintons, who's also a source for the false dossier that was used to spy on an American citizen. He's hanging out with Dolan. In fact, don't they meet on a park bench somewhere in Arlington, Virginia on New Year's Day?
New Year's Day, middle of the day.
This is straight out of the movies, right? And the FBI says, but we're not going to talk to Charles Dolan. This is two of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. They won't talk. They pay a guy who's a Russian spy, who's the source of the dossier. The other source of the dossier is Charles Dolan, who meets with that guy on a park bench in Arlington, and they don't want to interview him. You can't make this stuff up. But that's what Comey's FBI did. And they're still doing this kind of baloney because Mr. D'Antuono told us so, running operations, running investigations out of headquarters instead of assigning a U.S. attorney, the job you did for a long time and did very well. That is a huge problem. And your report, that's why your report's valuable.
Their child, and every child who dreams for their future. I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. They're going to win like never before.
President Donald J. Trump, just moments after being sworn into office yesterday, he called it Liberation Day as he vowed to lead the country into the golden age of America. Good morning. We are back in our New York studios this morning. We were in Washington yesterday as well for all of the festivities. It is Tuesday, January 21st. I'm Charlotte McBride.
And I'm Mark Lauder. President Trump not done winning yet. He wants to keep on doing it. Taking a live look at the White House now as the sun is coming up. The first morning of America having a new president, Donald Trump's second term in office.
That's right. President Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance taking the oath of office yesterday at the Capitol Rotunda. A busy day filled with the transition of power, parties, and gallery galore, and the first military honor ceremony as well. And due to the weather, the inaugural parade was held at East Side Capital One Arena, where the Washington Capitol hockey team usually plays. A desk was set up for the 47th president to sign a flurry of executive orders, everything that he promised the American people he would do on day one tomorrow.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so.
And just to name a few, Trump will sign 78 Biden era executive actions, designated Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and pardoned most of those charged for January 6th. We'll dive into all of that coming up.
It's actually called the bill signing desk. Meanwhile, the 119th Congress got to business quickly. The Senate unanimously confirming one of their own, Marco Rubio, now as the Secretary of State. They also passed the Laken Riley Act, hoping to help crack down on illegal immigration. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn will join us next to discuss.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing from her. And now former President Joe Biden bidding farewell to Washington, but he did not leave office without making a bit of a splash. With just 15 minutes left in his presidency, Joe Biden preemptively pardoned his family, his siblings, their spouses, and to the long list of blanket pardons Biden has administered, like the preemptive pardon of Dr. Anthony Fauci and General Mark Milley. Those came down early in the morning yesterday as well. We'll have more on that throughout the day. Promises made, promises kept. Those are the words of our next guest. After yesterday's historic day, President Donald Trump officially sworn into office, wasting no time getting right to work. The 47th president signing dozens of executive actions.
For more on that, let's welcome in Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, you were right there, front row, right up front in the rotunda. I mean, what is that experience like?
Oh, it was so exciting to be in the rotunda and to where the president took the oath and where he gave his remarks, and it was just such a joyous day of celebration. You know, the American people really have given not only the president but Congress a mandate. They want to see change, they want to see the border secured, they want inflation to come down, the economy to improve, crime to be under control, and our standing in the world to be restored. And President Trump promised he would do that. He started on it yesterday as soon as he was sworn in.
What a special moment that we all got to witness. Carrie Underwood singing there. So there were some technical difficulties, so she chose to sing a cappella, and all of you to join in as well. What was that like?
It was amazing. Carrie Underwood is such a seasoned performer, and she just, when there was a difficulty with the band and they weren't moving forward, instead of singing all three verses in one, it invited us to join her. We carried it off flawlessly. She never missed a beat, and I was so excited that she and her husband and son were there, and also they joined us for the presidential luncheon following the swearing in.
Yeah, it was really nice to see President Biden also sing along. Vice President Harris did not. So one of the executive actions President Trump took yesterday actually goes hand in hand with a piece of legislation you introduced, imposing a federal government hiring freeze and ordering workers to get back into the office. I have a feeling traffic's going to be jammed up this morning in Washington, D.C., Senator.
I think you're right about that, and yes, I have legislation as part of my DOGE Acts. It's things you have to do to set the parameters around reducing what the federal government spends and being able to reduce the size of the federal workforce and freezing federal hiring, freezing federal salaries so that you're not adding to those components. That is a first step. Also, my bill that requires employees to show up to work and moves us from a tenure promotion status to a merit-based promotion status. I was thrilled to see the president take those actions, and I hope we're going to be able to move my legislation forward quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And also big news from the Senate yesterday, which also got right to work, passing the Lincoln-Riley Act to 64-35 with 12 Democrats voting with Republicans. What does this mean for future immigration reforms under now President Donald Trump? And I have to ask, how could Democrats not vote for this?
And all those that didn't vote for us need to be fucking fired. They're straight up.
Is the American people fully understand that these criminal gangs and these cartels are
Raiders to the
bringing
United
people
States.
into our communities that are carrying out crimes. And in Lincoln Riley's case, she lost her life. And putting this legislation forward that would require ICE to deport these criminal illegal aliens, that is a solid step. We are looking forward to Tom Homan moving forward and actually carrying out these deportations so that we can return to safety and security in our communities.
Yeah, Senator, before we let you go, I want to ask you about these pardons that Biden issued. Several preemptive pardons with Dr. Fauci, General Mark Milley, the J6 committee, and then, of course, he wasn't done. Literally with 15 minutes to go in his time in office, his family members, his brother James, his wife Sarah, sister Valerie, her husband John, brother Francis. But we've discussed that none of these pardons actually removes their Fifth Amendment right to self-incrimination. You think Congress will hold hearings involving Dr. Fauci, General Milley, and others and get them on the record without the Fifth Amendment to IPA?
You know, the American people want to know what happened with COVID, and they want to know what kind of associations the Biden family had with foreign entities. And you don't give someone a preemptive pardon unless you think they have done something wrong. So I think it would be up to these individuals. If they feel like they did nothing wrong, then they need to refuse the acceptance of that pardon. Because right now, it looks like they all know, like the staff does, that these people were working outside of the rule of law.
Yeah, you make a great point. Senator Marsha Blackburn, always a pleasure. Thank you for taking this time this morning.
Good to see you, Charlotte. Thank you.
Me too. So turning now to Trump's executive orders and to one promise of securing our border, let's welcome in Texas Highway Patrol Staff Lieutenant Christopher Oliveros, along with former Department of Homeland Security Senior Advisor News Times Contributor and author of Terrorists on the Border and in Our Country, Charles Marino. Great to have you both on this morning. Lieutenant, I will start with you. So after his inauguration, President Trump declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border, giving him the power.
If you're unsure, look aware of your eyeglass prescription.
Access funds for the wall and possibly send in the military or the National Guard. In your opinion, what does this mean for the future of border security?
Well, I mean, I think it gives the federal government a much broader authority now to actually provide more resources on the border. Something that we've needed in the last 4 years that we've never done, especially in Texas. You know, Texas alone, we have provided a blueprint to how to secure the border, especially everything we've done in the last 4 years. We've done around the first launch of Operation Lone Star back in March of 2021. And the fact that we are building our own Texas border wall. In fact, even yesterday during the operation, Governor Abbott directed an additional water police to the basin of the river, which is being done right now. So we continue to maintain infrastructure in Texas, whether it's Texas border wall, whether it's placing laser wire along the river, or in this case, water police. So I think now, by having that blueprint, with new leadership now, with the new administration, they can carry on and continue to provide infrastructure along the border, but also provide as much needed resources in terms of policy and manpower that help deter mass migration that could take place. CBP on that was a big change as well. That's gonna be a deterrent in itself by telling those individuals that want to make their way to the border that now they cannot no longer do it, especially through an app. So that in itself sends a clear message that this new administration does do business, and they actually carried on the promises that they actually made, during the year leading up to the yesterday.
Yeah, Charles, during the inauguration speech, Trump designated the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. He later said crazier things have happened when answering a question about whether or not he would send the military into Mexico to take them out. I mean, Trump's serious. What do you think comes out of this?
Well, I'll tell you, I noted in my book that it was time that the cartels be designated as such. They had morphed in size because of the Biden administration policies, which funded them and made them the strongest they've ever been in their history due to the policies that brought them billions and billions of dollars. So they're
Criminals take care of criminals.
As well
Joe
as
Biden is a fucking criminal.
I think this goes beyond
And
just
how you don't go to
national
fucking
security.
prison, that's beneath me.
I think this also speaks to, under the Trump administration, the way the U.S. is going to start to return to projecting power globally, whether it's our allies or adversaries, whether it's dealing with Mexico and Canada or China and Iran. And that is, enough is enough. America is going to return to its top spot in the United States, and we're going to lead by example. And part of that leading is having expectations that countries like Mexico are going to step up and take their own problems. Now, this terrorist designation, as you know, brings a lot more tools to the table, both financially and militarily, to solve the problem of the cartels. We can do that with Mexico, as we did as an analogy with Colombia and under Plan Colombia against the FARC, or we can do it alone. Enough Americans are being killed to the tune of hundreds of thousands a year through fentanyl and other violence from the cartels and these gangs that we are totally justified to go after the cartels unilaterally if we need to.
Yeah, you make a great point. And Lieutenant, as you mentioned as well, we know that Donald Trump also shut down Biden's border CBP-1, which let illegal immigrants essentially waltz into our country. How does this help end illegal immigration and help control immigration as a whole? The app is done.
Well, first off, this action has been put in place in the first place. It's just another way for the outgoing administration to conceal, mass migration that was taking place and constant catch and release that was taking place in the country. They wanted to conceal and avoid the negative optics on national news by allowing thousands of migrants to cross border legally. And that's why we created this app. And really, there was no other measures put in place to facilitate the asylum process, and actually those that don't have legitimate asylum claims are still released from the country due to mass parole. And that was a completely new abuse of the system. And now that this app is completely gone, it's going to deter mass migration at the border. And of course, the outgoing administration, they really put tens of thousands of migrants in limbo. They provide a false sense of hope with this app, knowing that there was going to be consequences in the end. Right now,
We pay for them bitches to get cell phones, everything.
By ending this app, it's going to be the change measure. And all these girls that are currently in limbo right now in Mexico want to come to the U.S., and they're going to have to really tell them to ask themselves if they're going to either live in Mexico or actually come back to their country. So that's going to help out, especially on the border, to control that flow of people coming across the border, leaving the border to the folks that are using this app.
Yeah, you make a great point on that. It's a huge deterrent, sends a deterrent message.
Yeah.
So, Charles, another deterrent, the deportations. We expect there could be raids starting in the coming days in Chicago, but now since reporters claim, Chicago might not be able to assist, what do you make of this? Is this a show of force, or do you think they're actually going to go into Chicago and do this?
Well, the federal responsibility, thank goodness, to enforce the immigration laws of this country, so we don't expect that sanctuary cities are going to participate in this in any way, shape, or form. But that doesn't matter. You're just going to see greater presence of federal aid to carry out these operations. Now, the reason why they didn't take place yesterday and may not take place today is because there was a leak of the operational information regarding these raids that were going to put at jeopardy these law enforcement officers. This is the fourth estate rearing its ugly head. that being the bureaucracy, something that the Trump administration is once again going to have to navigate and root out. But no matter what, these raids are going to have to get done. And they're going to have to be done in places like sanctuary cities, who continue to harbor the majority of the national security and criminal threats that have entered this country illegally.
Well, we'll see in the coming days. Charles, Chris, thanks for joining us this morning.
Guys,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, time for some more news headlines. Let's go to Alex. Thanks, Charlotte. It's not time for another Newsmax News Minute. Well, just as he said he would, President Donald Trump signing an executive order giving TikTok a 75-day reprieve from its ban in the United States. The extension will give social media Chinese company ByteDance 2.5 months to sell its U.S. operations. President Trump posting on Truth Social saying that he wants to find a deal for TikTok that splits ownership 50-50 between ByteDance and the United States. Chinese officials saying Monday that they are willing to allow ByteDance to sell a part of the company. And look at this, as hundreds of brave firefighters continue to battle the wildfires in Southern California, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Office has now arrested 2 people for being fake firefighters. Police noticing what was clearly a fake fire truck driving around the evacuation zones over the weekend. And when they pulled it over, they found a man and a woman from Oregon decked out in fire gear, claiming to be from the Roaring River Fire Department. Well, no such department even exists, and the 2 were taken into custody and will be charged in a Los Angeles county today. And a man has previous arrest for arson. Dozens of people have been arrested for looting and arson since the fires began back on January 7th. And a Texas jury has ordered a barbecue restaurant chain to pay a customer $2.8 million after she was burned by hot barbecue sauce. In the lawsuit, a 19-year-old claims that she ordered breakfast tacos with a side of barbecue sauce, and when removing the small container of sauce from a bag, the container was so hot that she dropped it on her leg and suffered second-degree burns. The restaurant says the sauce is normally served at 165 degrees, but on that day, it was almost 190 degrees. Mark, Charlotte, we all remember that lawsuit against McDonald's with the hot coffee. That's what I was thinking about. They're serious. They really are. I mean, people will sue for anything, I'm sure. If she had second-degree burns, I guess. Yeah. Well, come on. Almost $3 million. Not too shabby. Also, there should be salsa on a breakfast taco. I'm confused with this barbecue sauce situation.
Yeah, as I'm sitting next to someone from Texas and Georgia, I'm like, I'm not getting into the barbecue and salsa game here.
Trump taking the oath of office yesterday, getting right to business and promising a common sense America. Take a listen.
The golden age of America begins right now. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. I was saved by God to make America great again. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. Tired of changes in the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before.
Well, unlike most politicians who campaign on doing things on day one and hoping to get around to it, for Trump it was promises made, promises kept. Let's welcome in former Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, T.W. Shannon, Republican strategist Bobby Everly. T.W., it was great to see you at the Newsmax Inauguration Eve party on Sunday. What was your biggest takeaway from all the things yesterday?
Well, listen, I was at the Hayes Adams Hotel just a little bit of ways away from the White House, and I got to tell you, I was moved by that speech. What we see is a president who is focused like never before. Now, a lot of things you said about Donald Trump's, his ability to communicate. A lot of things you said about, his temperament. But I will tell you what, this is a guy who is laser focused on making America great again. Whether we're talking about the executive orders that we saw, where he's basically closing the open border, or we're talking about, what he's planning to do when it relates to the economy and every other aspect of American life. He's laser focused. He even took his inaugural speech, time his inaugural speech, to lay out what his agenda and platform is going to be. This is kind of unprecedented in America, but everything about Donald Trump has been unprecedented. Even if you're a detractor of his, you got to admit, things are looking pretty bright. I'm here in Washington, D.C., in our nation's capital, and I will tell you the optimism, even from his detractors, is through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. We were there all weekend, and yeah, it's a different feel in Washington for sure. Bobby, so Trump, as we know, promised to deliver a wave of executive orders, and he did just that. Over 200 executive actions signed yesterday to combat high prices, the crisis at the southern border, restoring justice in this country. Did Trump give voters what they asked for on his first day in office?
Oh, yeah, I think he's off to a great start. And let me just say, while you guys were all yucking it up in Washington, I was back home with my county party playing Trump inauguration bingo. So we were hoping he'd say, drill, baby, drill, and Gulf of America. But that enthusiasm that TW was talking about, and it was there in our group. We had 200 people watching this, and the agenda that he laid out, he brought it, he talked unity, he talked about this golden age, but then there was the other side that said, look, the last 4 years of the Biden administration were absolutely terrible, and he didn't mince words. They're sitting right there next to him, and we're going to change this. We're going to change every aspect of it, whether it's green energy, the border, just the weaponization of government. He laid it all out, and he's delivering. Yeah, so the Senate also got to work right away, TW. They got the Lincoln-Riley Act passed. They confirmed Marco Rubio as Secretary of State unanimously. We've got more votes coming later this week. We could get 2 or 3 nominations through additionally.
If you've been waiting to apply for disability benefits, don't. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm a lawyer at Atticus. Applying as soon as you're unable to work or...
Hey, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, Trump has been very clear about what he wants to do. He said in his speech he wants his legacy to be that of a unifier and a peacemaker. And I think when you think about his nomination of Marco Rubio, somebody who frankly was a competitor of his not too long ago, I think everybody remembers how vociferous that fight got. And here it is, a guy like Donald Trump, who is a peacemaker, who saw the talent and ability of Senator Marco Rubio, who, by the way, is a former Speaker of the House, which I think makes him immensely qualified for any job. But the reality is, his colleagues, 99 of his colleagues from both sides of the aisle, see that Donald Trump has the right vision, and I think you're going to see that he's assembled a dream team. Whether we're talking, about Brooke Rollins or Elon Musk, the list goes on. Elise Stefanik. These are all capable Americans who are ready to do the job of the American people. It's a new day in America. It's bright, it's shining, and I think the optimism that we see is just going to continue for the next 4 years.
It's bright and shining for many of us, but if you ask some Democrats yesterday, it was doom and gloom. You've heard so many things from the left, and now they're losing their mind, Bobby, with speculation over Elon Musk and his gestures at Capital One Arena. It's just ridiculous. I thought we were done with this rhetoric and all of the hysterics, but again, I think they're just going to continue all of this maybe for the next 4 years.
Yeah, you know what I was wondering, as we went through the day, I was going to take a look at some analysis from CNN or MSNBC to see what they would pick at and the
Right.
things that they focus on. I mean, Elon Musk, boy, his speech there that yesterday at the parade, he looked like he was about 12 years old. He's so excited. He's sending out love to everybody. He's jumping around, and they pick at that.
Yeah.
They try to bring it down, and there's this optimism that is just, whether you're in Houston, whether you're in Washington, anywhere around the country, you can feel it. Elon felt it for sure. People are ready to move on and get things done for the American people, and the meltdowns will continue for sure.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
let's be clear about what all Americans agree on, though. One thing that I think that we can all agree on, Democrat, Republican, Melania's hat, I think, stole the show of everything yesterday. That's the thing.
It's perfection. Oh,
So,
absolutely.
all the amazing pictures, the amazing moments, all the things that happened. I gotta say, I woke up this morning, I think this stole the show. The president, the vice president, dancing with swords at the commander-in-chief ball while the YMCA played. My mom wouldn't let me run with scissors. And that's right. Swords in the hand, you don't see often. I mean,
Get the soldier behind her. She's focused.
like, watch out. You can see the other guy's like, do I give the other sword? Because they might drive you. Is this a good idea or not?
TW, I can watch this all day long. You know what? This is fabulous. It just shows he was having a good time. Yes, yesterday was a really serious day for America, but it was also a time to celebrate.
It's the greatest comeback in American history.
Absolutely.
Oh, my
I love
goodness.
it. I can watch this all day long. TW, Bobby Everly, It's been fun. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you this weekend.
It was great to see you too. So,
Also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, those are the famous words. President Trump